LG Hunter.
And I'm Angela Hunter.
And this is the Global Falcons Podcast. And welcome back again for another episode. And this episode is on
how protectionism harms global trade. What a word.
Yeah, it is a word. It's a long word, I should say.
Is it a made-up word? Yeah. I don't know.
If you like what you hear and you appreciate the value we're bringing to you, please hit the like and subscribe button. Also, tell a friend. Comment if you will. We love to answer back. And this all helps us grow the channel and help us bring better content to you. So let's dive right in. How protectionism harms global trade. According to the World Trade Organization, chief economist Ralph Ossa says protectionism involves restricting imports, often by putting tariffs on them to defend domestic industries from foreign competition and grow your own manufacturing of jobs. So this is can be good. This is bad. What does it all mean? Let's dive right in.
So protectionism is a short-term boost to economies because while it does create lots of jobs and swells government revenues, it
gorges it.
Yeah, it can reduce consumer choices and bring about more expensive prices. Things that are made in your own backyard, in your own domestic economy, might reduce in cost because you are not being tariffed on them as the rest of the world is, but then you're not only being tariffed on the things that are grown there, so you're being tariffed on things that you have to get from everywhere else. And it can lead to trade retaliation of other nations and make for a more uncertain global economic environment, because if one country is putting tariffs on all of their imported goods, every other country is going to do the same just to keep pace and also keep their revenues growing up because, it has to balance out somewhere. So if one is doing it, they're all going to do it. And then it sort of reduces these free trade deals and reduces the sharing of different things because not every economy can produce everything. It's just we're all in different areas of the world where different things grow. So it's very different when you're looking at the agriculture industry. You can't grow things here in Canada that you can grow in South America. And so if we're constantly importing food from them that they're putting huge tariffs on, then we're going to have to put tariffs on things that we export to them to sort of balance out that that trade account between the countries. And so is it really benefiting?
Well, there has to, for any real change to happen, there has to be disruption. So maybe this is good because, yes, I agree with you that naturally you cannot grow some things in Canada that you can in South America. However, now we're looking at hydroponics and indoor growing, which can be manipulated to however you want. There was a man in Saskatchewan who grew bananas right in his, what would you call that?
Greenhouse?
A terrarium. Terrarium?
Yeah.
Greenhouse, terrarium, whatever. Put in the comments what you think it is. So I think, like I said, disruption comes change. And with change comes better ways of living, ideally. What is that old saying? Hard men create soft times. Soft times create hard. No, soft men.
No.
Soft men create hard times. And hard times create hard men. So it's just like, it's a cycle, just like everything else in the world, right? So,
but if you're,
sorry, let me get this out. I think it's going to lead to more manufacturing within each city, and we talked about this over a year ago on another podcast. And I think maybe, just maybe, this is just a stage. This whole thing is just a stage of propaganda to, start this ball rolling, right? Because, all of these countries already work together, right? So it's like they probably already knew that something like this is going to happen, and there was already talks over a year ago of each city and each country becoming more self-reliant, and making their own manufacturing in each country, which again goes to each city, and then these 15-minute districts, and so on and so forth, and the ball gets trickled down. So I think this is the disruption point. And what comes of that, I don't know, but usually it's something good. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but if everyone's doing everything in their own backyard, and you're saying that countries are working together well right now, are they going to work well in the future if they don't need each other?
Well, I think
Other than
there'll still be this. Sorry, go ahead.
well, just like if you're growing everything in your own backyard and you're doing everything yourself, then you're going to need more space because we don't typically grow banana trees here. So we're going to need more space for that. We don't grow coconuts here. We're going to need more space for that. We don't grow pineapples here. And so that leads to needing more land mass to do the more things you can't do. And if we're not fostering these relationships through trade and commerce and shared interest and shared exports, then we're going to be fighting each other for that precious land because we want to do everything ourselves without working. So I can see how it would lead to less global trade, could lead to a breakdown in global relationships.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I believe that there's still certain things, certain items that you won't just be able to make as easily as other countries, and to set up a facility just to make these items would be extremely difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings me to maybe, just maybe, the governments will be more facilitators to products, right? So they'll take on the burden of the tariff, not each business, and then they will then sell those products. The government will sell the products just like they do certain. There's things you can bid on to governments for projects, right? Well, there's sort of the GM for that industry or that product. Well, what if the government ends up taking on the burden of the tariffs and then selling the products to the people of the land or their country, right? So they kind of become the retail store, right? They're kind of like the Home Depot, and then still businesses would then go to facilities that are government owned, sort of like I guess it would be the opposite of what Sarcan is in Canada, right? So I don't know. That's a thought. If I was in charge of the country, this is something that I would think of because it gives better. It brings more demand. First off, because the governments can then also give almost like blueprints towards what people should be making, what people should be doing, and then it opens up new industries, right? And then it also they take on the burden of these tariffs that are inevitable, right? And then I think they'll just it's more of a business tactic. That's the way I like to think of things. So I think this could be an option for our governments to look at, to consider, and maybe this ushers in a whole new way of building, a whole new way of industries, which we're on the verge of anyways with AI and something else too. That's a big one. AI and something else.
New monetary systems?
Yeah, monetary systems, which will be more like a credit system, right? I think this all could go hand in hand if it's built this way. It's not a great way. It certainly leads more of a communist style, but not really because it's also a capitalist like structure, right? The government's taking on because most businesses they're not buying like boatloads of a product, right? If they need one product, they're hoping that one business out there is buying a boatload of product. And what if that business isn't? Or they've shut down like many other businesses already? I think this is a great opportunity for governments to take on the burden of the large retail and then distribute, be a distributor, right? And bring back some kind of a trust in the government and the system, right? As long as prices stay relatively neat. I don't know. That's just a random thought, and I just came up with that right now. This was totally off script, so I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that because however small a thought or an idea, it still is there, right? And it's still something to consider.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Sorry, I don't even know where I am. My next one?
The trade relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So today, our trade relationships matter more than any other. Okay?
One.
What?
One trade relationship matters.
Today, one trade relationship matters more than any other. And that's the one between the United States and China. Though these trades are rather small and only make up about 3% of the world trades, it has the power to realign global trades and affect all countries, dubbing these tariffs as a trade war. This will affect your country, and I've already given a solution on how your country can combat that and stand up and make a big difference. So, yeah, it's going to impact you. It's going to be a little different, but there's ways around it. And in a couple other episodes, we've mentioned tariffs this past week here. So it's like, look at those and just kind of gather some information on how to help your family, how to help your business, and how to help the people around you. That's very important because this isn't the end. It's the beginning of something new. And that's the way you should be looking at everything in your life.
Yeah. So another one is the division of labor is a pillar to prosperity. So if we had to make everything ourselves, like what we were talking about, growing everything in our own backyard, from clothing to housing to food, nothing would really be as good as it could be because you're not specializing in one of those things, where that's what brought about this exchange for service. And that's what international trade is an extension of, this exchange for goods and services. Like, it was done a long time ago, usually with your close neighbors, just because we didn't have a way of traveling far. But now we have giant ships and aircraft and things where we can trade all across the world.
Drones.
Yeah. So, and business and consumer interest is really the drive of this exchange, because we want things here that we don't have because we see everyone else have them, and it's like, I want some of that. So
thank you, social
we
media.
bring it in, yeah. And I think just the better that we cooperate with these exchanges, the better it is for the consumer. Putting tariffs on things is great for governments because, as we have heard, it swells their revenue, and that maybe they can offer better services to their own people. Maybe they don't. I don't know what they do with their money. I haven't looked at every government's books, but maybe somebody should.
Oh my gosh.
See where they're spending their money, because if it's not for the good of the average consumer and it's not for the good of the average person, then tariffs really aren't doing what they should be.
I'm just going on a whim here and say that if there's people in power like Pelosi's and Freeland, and they're making, tens of millions of dollars net worth, I'm going to go ahead and say that it's not all for the greater good now, is it?
No. And so tariffs is just more money in their pocket, and we're just hoping that they do the right thing with it. Maybe some of them will, and that's really great, but there's also some of them out there, like, money changes people and it makes them greedy. The more you have, the more you want. So is it really getting trickled down? I don't know. So free trade might be better as it passes on savings to consumers, and it actually helps bring the cost down of daily living, which is what the average person really needs right now.
Yeah, I can tell you a huge story. I know I'll probably make a podcast on its own about it, but I know firsthand as a Métis citizen that not all money gets trickled down to the businesses. Not all money goes to the citizens the way it's supposed to and the way it's propped up to. So that's something that I'll probably mention here soon, because I'm having a little battle of my own with one institution that seems to think that they can do whatever they want and get away with it. And not here, not now, and not while I'm alive. So yeah, we'll talk more about that. But did we hit global trade here?
We did, yeah.
Yeah. Please, if you like this episode, if you like us, if you like the podcast, hit the like, subscribe button. If you don't, hit the like, subscribe button. And
and leave your comments in the comment section below so that we can know how to meet your high standards.
Yeah. We just want to bring you good content. And to do that, we need your one, approval, and two, your input, so that we can bring better content to you every week, every episode. So this has been the Global Falcons podcast on how protectionism harms global trade.